artist has oddly shaped feet.
Fluff up the hair. Hey guys!
Hi guys!
It's been quite a long time since we filmed anything, and this is our first vlog in Wyoming. Because right now we are on a rock climbing trip. We're actually on day 4 of this rock climbing trip, and this is the first time we've pulled the camera out. But we wanted to share a little bit about what we're doing right now and a little bit about how our entire first year living full-time on the road and going from rock climbing place to rock climbing place has gone.
Yeah, rock climbing is obviously a super important part of our lives, and it's like our main physical activity. And we just love it. It kind of gives us places to go, destinations. We've seen some of the most beautiful places in the country because of rock climbing.
And we're starting to get a lot more experience with different kinds of rocks, dolomite,
limestone, granite, gritstone, sandstone.
And starting to get a lot more experience with different regions and different styles of climbing. So we'll share some of that with you now. We're on our way over to the main wall in
Wild Iris,
which is a huge climbing destination. There's probably between Sinks Canyon and the Wild Iris area where we are, which are like a half-hour apart, there's like 1,000 sport climbing routes here.
Yeah.
So it will take years and years and years to even put a dent into this place, but we'll do our best. Here we go.
Our journey starts in East Texas, where we just finished building the van, and we had just bought a crash pad and we wanted to rock climb outside and test it out for the first time, so we found ourselves in Palo Duro Canyon. This place we didn't really have any idea about established routes, so we just picked a rock, climbed to the top of it, and picked the next one.
From Texas, we headed up the East Coast to visit friends and family, and we found ourselves pretty close to the Gunks in New York. We still had no other equipment other than a crash pad and didn't really know how to sport climb outside, so we just found all the boulders that we possibly could. And honestly, we had ourselves a pretty good time.
Where does this end?
Oh, I don't know.
After the Gunks, we headed down to West Virginia, where we found Cooper's Rock. We were headed southwest for the winter because it was getting kind of cold, but we found this really cool place along the way with awesome boulder problems and finally started figuring out a mountain project to establish or find established routes. Problems, I guess.
Next, we went down to Red River Gorge, which is where we hired a guide to teach us the ins and outs of outdoor climbing. We learned all about anchors, bought our own ropes, quick draws, so that we could climb in other places along our journey.
And very quickly, we did put that skill to the test when we did our first outdoor session with just Katie and I, and we climbed some sport routes from 5.8s all the way up to 5.11b.
I did it! In Arizona, we visited the Tucson area. We did a lot of bouldering here, and we also got our feet wet with a little bit more sport climbing. There are so many different kinds of rocks out here in Tucson. It was really exciting for us, and also all the saguaro cactuses really make this an epic climbing spot.
Very quickly, we headed to the west coast, and we were on our way towards San Diego, stopping at Joshua Tree along the way. Once we made it into San Diego, we found some boulders around Santee, and we climbed a mountain called El Cajon.
He is shaking his buttocks vigorously.
How was it?
Great.
When we headed north, we went back to Joshua Tree and then to LA, where we visited Stony Point Park. This is one of the premier bouldering areas in the country and where a lot of the original Yosemite climbers got their start.
After Stony Point, we went into the Alabama Hills, which is a gorgeous view of the Sierra Mountains, and we had some great climbing experiences there. Katie started climbing up into 5.9s, 5.10s, and there were just sport climbing routes all over the place. It felt kind of like a gym there.
Agree.
We weren't quite done with the American Southwest, so we headed back down to Arizona, Sedona specifically, when coronavirus hit. Unfortunately, we had to quarantine. It didn't get as much climbing here as we wanted, but we got some good bouldering sessions and some good sport climbing with friends.
From there we moved up to Flagstaff in order to try to beat the heat. It was nice at higher altitude location, but it also has two of our favorite rock climbing places that we found in the entire United States, which is Priest Draw and of course the Pit. And if you want to see more about us climbing at the Pit, we have an episode on our YouTube channel a couple episodes back, so check that one out.
From here, we traveled up through Utah. Our first spot was Cedar Canyon, which had a short approach but an awesome view. While we didn't get any footage of us climbing, we did get a drone shot to remember how special this place is to us. We moved through Utah pretty quickly, although we were able to stop at Joe's Valley and Maple Canyon as well, which are honestly two of our favorite climbing spots in the country.
Continuing north up into Idaho, we made a couple of different rock climbing stops. Sun Valley was one of the places we could find rock climbing, but most of the places that we climbed while we were in Idaho were just nearby the places that we had been camping. So we didn't necessarily prioritize our rock climbing, but we did manage to find some sport climbing around while we were there.
We headed east to Bozeman, Montana to visit some friends and get some climbing in before we headed south to Yellowstone and then Grand Teton.
Once we made it into Wyoming, we started to prioritize our rock climbing a little bit more. So we climbed at the Blacktail Butte, and we also climbed another location called the Gross Venture Cliffs, which is the first place that we ended up ever deep water soloing. I've been wanting to deep water solo for a really long time, and it was super exciting to be able to climb off, jump off a cliff, and then climb back up again. And that brings us to Wild Iris.
Okay, so we just got to the main wall. We got a little bit of walking left to do, but we're here in the parking lot, and we'll show you what it looks like a little bit over there. We just got done climbing. The first 16 routes were at the OK Corral. That's what we just got done looking at. We're gonna do a quick session here, and then maybe later we're gonna do something fun. What is that, babe?
A natural water slide.
Woo! And we got the tip from the locals, so.
So we made it to the main wall, a little longer of an approach than we had to OK Corral, but this wall in particular looks really hard. So I think we're gonna find something that looks a little easier and then start climbing.
This is tricky.
Yeah.
Ding ding ding!
Yeah! Nice job. Nice job, Katie.
Woo!
Just got through that one. That was a pretty great climb, actually. It was a nice one. This is our 19th climb in this area. This one's supposedly a 10 point. Or
just a 10A.
Yeah, just a 510A.
It was tricky on the start, but the rest of it was really fun climbing.
Yeah, pretty easy route, but a nice one to be climbing for our 19th route here in the Wild Iris.
And this rock is sharp, very unforgiving.
Yeah, my toes are really beat up from these tiny little pockets. Anyway, we'll probably climb maybe like 1 or 2 more just so we can round it out and even 20 routes for our climbing trip here, and I'm sure we'll be back again because there's hundreds of climbs yet to be climbed here.
Definitely, but next up is going to be the water slide for sure.
Yeah, oh man, it's hot today. I don't know if you can tell by looking at how bright that wall is, but it's a sweaty time, so we'll really enjoy jumping in the water after we're done here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go climb maybe 1 or 2 more, and then we'll catch up with you guys in a bit.
We're back at the van.
We are on our way now to Sinks Canyon, which is about 40 minutes away from where we were just climbing at Wild Iris. And what are we doing there, babe?
we're gonna go down that natural water slide! Woo! Which is like honestly the best way I could ever imagine ending a climbing day because we're pretty sweaty and it's pretty hot.
Climbing day, let's talk about climbing trip. We've been just smelly, dirty dirt bags on the wall for the last 4 days.
Yeah.
And it'll be really nice to get some water in my armpits.
Oh yeah, we need a bath. It's desperate.
So here we go, we'll pick you up in a minute.
Yeah, see you soon.
Oh my god!
I can't imagine a better way to end a 4-day-long climbing trip than jumping into a pool of water from a water slide.
Woo!
Woo!
We'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our videos, and stay tuned for more to come from our channel, the VANgelicos.
Thanks for watching!
Bye-bye!
After Wild Iris, we headed northwest. We stopped in Coeur d'Alene, climbed a whole bunch there, then Mazama, climbed a whole bunch there, and then we escaped the smoke that was in Washington by traveling southeast back into Idaho to City of Rocks, which is our first time coming here. We missed it on the way north. While we were in City of Rocks, we climbed a whole bunch of really cool sport routes, and we did a little bit of barefoot free soloing along the way too.
We went back to Joe's Valley, which we absolutely love, where we climbed 30 boulder problems in 5 days, and Adam's fingertips are still trying to recover. We also met a mouse named Theodore Jeffrey.
After that, we headed a little bit southeast to Moab and the surrounding areas, which is a place we've been thinking about since we essentially hit the road, but we skipped it earlier on the way north because it was really hot. While we were there, we did some really cool stuff, though. In addition to some of the sport climbing we found, we hired a guide and we finally got our trad climbing on, which is great because this is less than a year since we hired our guide in Red River Gorge. So we'll take these new skills with us and go continue climbing all around the United States. See you guys next time.